Everyone at the bank stared when a well-dressed black woman walked in. The manager looked her up and down, and refused to help her. She stayed calm, but her eyes burned with something no one understood. 10 minutes later, luxury cars pulled up, and men in suits rushed inside. What happened next made every customer gasp, and left the bank staff frozen, waiting for the words that would change everything. It was a bright Monday morning when Jasmine Carter stepped out of her black luxury sedan, heels clicking on the pavement as she approached the glass doors of Crestview National Bank. Her tailored suit was immaculate, her hair perfectly styled. She walked with quiet confidence, the kind that comes from years of hard work, success, and self-respect. Inside, the bank was busy. Customers stood in line, clerks shuffled papers, and the manager, a tall man with slicked back hair named Mr. Hanley, stood near the front desk, pretending to be helpful. Jasmine took a seat in the waiting area, holding a slim folder in her hands. Inside were important documents, a transaction that could change lives. Minutes passed. Then more minutes. People who came in after her were helped immediately. Each time a clerk's eyes met hers, they quickly looked away. Jasmine stayed calm, her fingers resting lightly on the folder. Finally, she approached the reception desk. "Excuse me," she said politely. "I have been waiting for over 20 minutes. I need to see the manager." The young receptionist, barely glancing up, muttered, "You'll have to wait, ma'am. He's busy with important clients." Jasmine's brow furrowed. "And I am not important." Before the receptionist could answer, Mr. Hanley himself walked over. He looked Jasmine up and down slowly, not in admiration, but in judgment. His lips curled into a thin, cold smile. "We do not usually handle special cases like yours," he said in a voice that carried across the lobby. Several customers turned to watch. Jasmine blinked, her voice calm but firm. "And what exactly do you mean by that?" Mr. Hanley shrugged. "You know exactly what I mean. Maybe try a smaller branch, or somewhere that better suits you." The words were drenched in disrespect. A hush fell over the room. Even the pens stopped scratching against paper. Jasmine stood still, her eyes locking on his. Not with anger, but with a silent, measured intensity that made him shift uncomfortably. She gave a faint smile, one that held no warmth. "Very well," she said softly. "I will wait exactly 10 minutes. Then, we will see." Mr. Hanley smirked as if he had won some unspoken game. Jasmine turned away and took her seat again, calmly setting her phone on the armrest. No one noticed that her fingers moved quickly across the screen. No one noticed the 3 short words she sent in a single message. And no one in that bank had any idea that those 10 minutes would turn their world upside down. The lobby went silent as Maya's eyes locked with the teller's. "Ma'am, I already told you, we can't process this transaction. Please step aside," the young woman repeated, her voice louder now so the other customers could hear. Several people shifted uncomfortably, whispering to each other. Maya could feel their eyes on her, some filled with pity, others with quiet judgment. Her fingers tightened on the leather folder in her hand. Inside it was something that would change everything, but she decided not to reveal it just yet. The manager finally emerged from his glass office, his expensive watch glinting in the light. "Is there a problem here?" he asked, scanning Maya from head to toe before his eyes hardened. He did not wait for her to speak. "If you don't have proper identification or an account, there's nothing we can do for you. Please don't hold up our line." Maya's jaw clenched. She could have ended this right now. She could have said the one sentence that would make the whole branch freeze. But she didn't. Instead, she glanced at the clock on the wall. 10 minutes. That was all she needed. Somewhere outside, the low rumble of a black SUV's engine grew louder. 3 more followed close behind. And with every second, the people in that bank were running out of time to realize who they were dealing with. Inside the conference room, the atmosphere was tense. The branch manager, Mr. Collins, sat with his arms crossed, eyes darting nervously toward the door. He had no idea why headquarters had summoned him so urgently. The rest of the staff shuffled awkwardly, exchanging whispers, their faces pale. Suddenly, the heavy glass doors opened, and in walked the woman from earlier, the same one they had humiliated. But now, she was flanked by two impeccably dressed assistants carrying thick folders and a man with a camera documenting every moment. "Miss Johnson," Mr. Collins stammered, standing halfway before sitting again, unsure of himself. She didn't answer him. Instead, she walked directly to the head of the table, pulled out a chair, and sat down with a calm authority that made everyone in the room freeze. Her presence was electric, commanding, yet cold. A murmur rippled through the staff. Some finally recognizing her face from the framed corporate portrait that hung in the national headquarters lobby. The realization struck them one by one like a slow, creeping wave of dread. Miss Johnson tapped a folder on the table. "Before we begin, I need each of you to confirm your position here, because in a few minutes, it may no longer exist." No one dared to move. The silence was suffocating, broken only by the faint hum of the air conditioner. 10 minutes ago, she continued, her voice sharp, I was denied service at this very branch. I was judged by my skin, my clothes, and my silence. Not one of you thought to ask my name, yet you were quick to decide my worth. Her eyes scanned each trembling employee. And then she said it, 5 words that made everyone's stomach drop. "You all work for me." Gasps filled the room. But before anyone could respond, she leaned forward, her voice dropping to an icy whisper. "And in exactly 3 minutes, you won't." Gasps filled the bank. The branch manager's smug grin melted into sheer panic as the woman pulled a sleek black card from her purse, one reserved for billion-dollar account holders. "I am Dr. Naomi Carter, CEO of Carter Financial Group, and the owner of this bank," she said, her voice calm but sharp enough to cut glass. "You refused me service because of how I look. That ends today." The employees froze. Some tried to mumble apologies, but Naomi raised her hand. "Save it. You do not treat people this way, ever. And you certainly do not treat the people who sign your paychecks this way." Then, in a tone that silenced the entire lobby, she gave the order, "You are all relieved of your duties. Security will escort you out." The stunned customers whispered to each other. They had never seen justice served so quickly, so decisively. But Naomi was not done. She turned to the elderly man still sitting in the corner, the one she had noticed earlier being ignored just like her. She walked over, smiled, and said, "Sir, come with me. You are now our VIP guest. I will personally open your account." The old man's eyes glistened. "Thank you. I thought people like you did not exist anymore." Naomi smiled softly. "People like us have to exist, or nothing changes." As they walked out together, the whispers in the bank grew louder, but one thing was clear. Everyone had just witnessed something they would never forget.